Hi, welcome to this session. We are going to be looking at Jupyter Notebook in this session. When you open your Anaconda Navigator application, it will take us to this landing page where we will have access to different integrated development environments that we can use to run our Python code. However, we are focusing on how to accessing the Jupyter Notebook. So you can see it here. This is the Jupyter Notebook. You just click on launch. And when we launch like this, it is going to open on a browser on our computer. So when our Jupyter Notebook opens, it is going to take us to this page that contains different folders like this. And if you go down, we are going to see all the notebooks that we have opened in this particular Jupyter Notebook. On your own, as a beginner, you may not see all of this notebook because you might not have created or downloaded a notebook in your own Jupyter. But for me, I have downloaded and created a whole lot of many notebooks, and these are the notebooks. Now, when we want to create a new notebook, this is where we go. This icon here with new. So when you click on it, you can see Python 3 kernel. So when you click on it, it will open a new notebook for us. So when you open a new notebook like this, the first thing you want to do is to name your notebook. So look at this option here called Untitled. So, but before I go, we can increase the font size of our notebook. So just come to these three dots here. When you click on it, you will see zoom. So let me zoom to 150. Good. So when you want to save your notebook, you come here, this Untitled, you could just click on it and then it will give you the opportunity to rename your notebook. So let me rename this to worksheet. So this is the name of my notebook and it has been saved. So these are the options through which you can use to undo our notebook. But this you are seeing here is called a cell. So we call it a cell. When it is in a blue color like this, it is in a command mode. However, if I press enter, you can see that now it is showing a cursor inside which I can use to write or do anything I want. So this is in an edit mode. So when it is showing a green color like this, it is telling you that you can start writing inside the cell. Now, there are two forms in which we can have our cell. It can be in form of in a form that we can use it to run a code. So we call it a code, or in a form that is called a markdown form. So if we want to play around our cell, we come to this icon here. When you click on it, you can see run cell. So if I click on this run cell, it will run the cell, but it will not create a new cell. And the shortcut for that is Control Enter. So when you press Control Enter as a short key, it will run the cell, but it will not go to a new, it will not create a new cell. So let's see. Let's say we say print hello world. So if I come here and I click run cell or I press Ctrl Enter, you can see it has run this particular code, but it's not creating a new cell below it. Now, assuming I want to run it and create a new cell at the same time, I will come here and click on run cell and select below, which is shift and enter. So if I click on this, let's run again. Good. So it has run the cell and it has created a new cell under. But if you look at this new cell, you see that this new cell is in an edit mode, which means I can just continue to write another line of code inside here. If I want to delete a cell, I will just make the cell to be in the command mode and I will press D twice. That is the D button 2 times. So when I do that, it's going to delete the cell. Let's look at the another way of running our cell. So if you run a cell, but to insert a new cell below it, so we click on this and that is Alt Enter. If I click on this, you can see that it has created a new cell below it. So now we can insert a new cell using this. So we can insert above. If I insert above, it will insert a new cell above this one. So let's choose this one. Let's press insert, insert above. You can see a new cell. So if I insert below, it will insert another one below it. But you can use a shortcut, which is A and B. So assuming I'm here now and I press A, you're going to select a new cell above. If I click on B, it will select a new cell below. So let us delete all of this. We press D twice, and then it is deleted. Good. Now, let's look at other methods. Let's look at view. You can use this to toggle header and co. Let's look at kernel. Kernel can be used to, you can interrupt a particular code. So if a code continues to run and it does not want to stop, you can interrupt it using this particular option, or we press I twice. So there are some times that you run a code and the code just continue to be running and you want to terminate it. So you just come to kernel and you interrupt the kernel. Sometimes you want to restart and run all. So you can restart the whole kernel and run everything. What does that mean? It means that if you have 100 cells in your notebook, you can rerun everything like that. So those are other options in using our notebook. Let's go to edit. So you can cut a cell. So when we cut a cell, you can also use a shortcut called X. You can copy cell and using C. So for example, let's say I say Prince is a good man. So if I run this, but I want to copy this, so I will just press on C. When I press on C, I come here and then I will press on V. Then it has pasted it below the cell I selected before. So if I want to cut it, assuming I want to cut this one now, I can just press X. And then if I want it to be below this, I will press V. And then we have been able to insert it here. Now, there are another two modes where we can put our cell in a code or in a markdown. We can also use these other two options, but this code and markdown are the uh, two common modes that we are going to be using. For example, I have been running all of these and the code is running. If I put this in a markdown mode, like if I put it in a markdown, you can see that if I run a code now, it's just showing like a letter. So we use a markdown when we want to write a text inside our notebook. So Jupyter Notebook, sometimes we want to write a text to explain our project or the level where we are in the project. So we put it in the markdown mode. So you just come here, you click on markdown or you click on M. So when it is in the command mode like this, you can just click on M. When you click on M, you have converted it to a markdown. So if I say print is a good man. So if I run this now, it's going to just make it in normal text. But if I come back again and I press and I come here, I click on this and I turn it to a code, you can see it has changed. So if I run this now, you're going to run it as a code. I can So for this one now is in the markdown mode. If I click on Y, it's going to convert it to code mode and then I can run my code and that is it. So we have checked the edits, we have looked at view, insert, above and below, we look at cell, and then let's look at these three options: run all, run above, and run all below. So let's look at them. So at this point now, if I click run all here, it's going to run all of these. So let me, so that you can understand it, let's let's turn into this again. Good. So if I click on my cell here and I say run all, you can see it has run all the cell. So let's go back again and turn it back to a state where the codes are not yet run, and let us try the other one. So let's look at it. So run all above means that it will run this one, it should not touch this particular cell. So let's try this, run all above. You see, it has run this, but it does not touch this one. So let's go back again and let's try run all below. So let's use this one. Run all below. If I click on this, you can see that it has run everything from here to below it, but it doesn't run the one above it. So we are going to be using all of these methods as we continue in our journey in Python programming. So whenever we are using a notebook to do our project or to write a Python code, this is some of the concepts we are going to be applying. In this particular series, we are going to be using Jupyter Notebook as our IDE where we are going to be writing our code. Now, let's go to the Markdown. I spoke on the Markdown before, but let's go into it a little bit deeper. So, this now, I want to turn it to a Markdown. So, I press on M, so it has become a Markdown. So, I can write my text in it like this. So this is a session on how to use Jupyter Notebook. So if I run it, you can see how it is. So I can copy it, you can see. However, if I want to make this to have a font of an header, I will put the hashtag in the front. So when I use one hashtag, you can see how it is. So let me use two. You can see. Let me use three. You can see. So and continue on and on like that. If I want, if I do something like this and I say, okay, we looked at cells. So if I put a star here like this, you can see. So if I run this, you can see that it has make it to be like a bullet point under this. So these are some of the methods we can use to write our text inside a Markdown in Python. So there is another thing I want us to know. So let's say this is a code. I write x equals to 11, y equals to 10, and z equals to 23. If you look at this, if I run this now, it has run well. But if I want a particular line of code, I want it to remain silent without being executed, I will just put a hashtag in front. You see that immediately I pushed this hashtag in front, you can see that it has changed. So let me remove it. If I say print x, you can see it. If I say print y, you get that. If I say print z, you get that. But if I put an hashtag here, like this, it doesn't matter the number I put. I can put 22, it's still the same thing. So if I run this and I run this now, this is still showing because it has been stored in memory. So let me do something else. Let me say q equals r. So q equals 23. So if I put an hashtag here and I run it, so if I say print q, so name q is not defined because this code did not run. So if I remove this now and I do this, so you can see that the code is now running. Sometimes you can also use the hashtag to also comment on the code. So I can do something like this. put a hashtag here and say this is a code for X, Y, and Z. So if I do this, I have commented here to explain what this code is all about. And if I run it, you see there is no problem. But if I want to do this without writing this, without putting an hashtag here, if I run this, it's going to show an error. But immediately I put this here, Python understand that this one is not going to be wrong. So if I do this, you can see how it works. So we are going to be using this method a lot because when you are writing a code in a Jupyter notebook and you want to write a comment inside the notebook, inside the code, this is how we go around it. So I think if you want to navigate down and up, you can just click on it on it like this, and then you move around up and down. I think this is enough for us to start our journey with Jupyter Notebook. So after this, you can start using Jupyter Notebook to write a Python code on your computer. But before we go, let me also add one or two things. You can see the file here. If I click on it, you can see it gives options like make a copy, rename, save, checkpoint, or download. So sometimes we want to download our Jupyter notebook. So if you want to download it, for example, this particular one now, if I want to download it, I'll just click on File and Download as. So there are still options down. So let me reduce the font size. Good. So I click on File, Download as. I can download as HTML, Markdown, or a notebook. If I download on a notebook, I click on this. You can see now that it has been downloaded onto my computer. So if I go to the download folder, I will see this particular file there. So this is how we can download our Jupyter notebook. Another option is that if you get a notebook from another person, like probably somebody sent a notebook to you and you download it. So when you download a notebook from another person, usually the downloaded notebook will go to a download folder on your computer. So if it is in the download folder on your computer, when you come to this particular page here, come to the download folder here. When you click on the download folder, it will take you to all of the notebooks inside your download folder. You can see that this is my download folder now, and all of these notebooks are in it. So you can easily access a downloaded notebook through this particular process. For example, the notebook in this series, you will be able to download it, but when you download them, they are going to be in your download folder, and when you open your Jupyter like this, for you to be able to access those notebook, you will have to go to the download folder on this Jupyter notebook. Very good. So I think we should try and see how that works. So let me go to my folder here. Let me see download. We downloaded a worksheet, a notebook. You can see it is here now. This is my download folder. You can see that this worksheet that we downloaded is not here. So let me rename it here. So I will write it downloaded So downloaded, and then I press enter. So if I want to access this notebook, assuming this was downloaded from the internet and I want to access it in my Jupyter notebook, what should I do? I will come to my Jupyter and then go to download. I click on it. So, and then I will come down and look for download. Everything is arranged in an alphabetical order. So let me go to D, it should be DO. So you can see it is here, downloaded. So you can click on it, and now I have access to the same notebook. So this is very important. I wish you all the best in your Python journey. Until we meet in the next one.